Yo, what's up guys? How's everybody doing? This is Vilisink back again. In this video, we will be talking about the gear you get from Ice Golem's Peak when you defeat the Ice Golem. As you see, you go into any dungeon, you will see gear at the side. What we're going to do today is talk about these sets and whether you should use them, whether they're kind of good, still viable, etc. So let's take a look. Life is just like the first set you get in the game. It's 15% HP increase. I mean, I've got champions that have good life pieces on to get up HP and one up miscreated mortar, etc. Some people think because you have immortal, you shouldn't use life, but I don't mind the life sets if it's still a good piece. I think the set is still entirely viable if you wanted to use it. I still keep life pieces if they're good. I still have no problem putting it on any of my champions if I don't have any immortal pieces available. But in general, as a HP piece, I think you can't go wrong with it. I have nothing against that set. It's a good set. We're moving on. We're going to offense, which gives you a 15% increase in attack. So this is the second set you'll get when you start playing this game, and it's okay, I think, early on. It's not something that I've genuinely used that much. If I'm boosting attack on my team, I think it's through the attack percentage of a different set, but maybe through the boots or gloves or through the chest. I think I recently put on some more attack to my skull crown, who on the first wave in campaign brutal can do over 100k damage. We boosted her like 500-600 attack, but we removed I think like 3 or 4 crit damage. It was actually very much worth it. But as far as when you progress further in the game, there is different sets. You won't really use an offense set. If you have really good damage stats, you could keep it and just use them pieces as broken pieces. So you don't necessarily have to have the set on. You can just take the bonus from whatever the piece gives you, be it crit rate, be it speed, be it crit damage, or just a whopping amount of attack. Good to start with, but I don't see much play later on in the game for it. Defense. No, go to the top. Defense will give you a 15% increase. 15% defense increase, which I still think is feasible. I still think it's viable. I don't think it has to be any more than 15%. I don't think it has to be 20. I think 15 is fine. I like it. And people that go into dungeons, people go into clan boss, it doesn't really matter. It's always been a set to me that I've seen as feasible and a set that you're going to need. So I'm always up for people who don't like doing Golem. I don't mind it. I'm totally up for keeping defense pieces because it's just survivability for your team. Whether you're throwing up a poison, you're doing an attack, you're defense based, the survivability will aid you a lot better than being glass cannon. So moving on, we have critical rate. It's a 2-piece set and it's 12% crit rate. So crit rate is something that I keep pieces in this set that have crit rate rolls. So when I get to my 100% crit rate, it's much easier. Also meaning that I can go for different sets and not have to worry, because I'm getting 12% from that set. If I have 2 items that both have rolls of 15-20 on them, that's 50-60% crit rate to start with, including what you get, which is 15 and 5 from your masteries. So from that alone, you've built up a large amount of crit rate. It's a feasible set. you can do some pretty cool niche builds with it. You can go crit rate, crit damage, or you can go speed, crit rate, depending on the champion. I've messed around with High Katoon where she's been total speed, and then she went crit rate, crit damage, just to see the different side to her. It's fun. Apart from people disliking Ice Golem because they think it's kind of boring, crit rate is still a really good set. If you're struggling to get critical rate up, just grab a set of that. You will make your build 1,000 times better. We have resistance. Resistance is something that I've always believed we should keep. I always believe we should keep. Like, I was keeping accuracy and resistance chests way back. And all I've seen on YouTube is people saying, hey, don't keep this garbage. Put it in the bin, put it in the bin. FYI, do not trust all content creators. If they give an opinion, it's their opinion. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's written in stone, so always refer to your own judgment on the sets you've used in your experience. Your resistance is becoming, I think it's a really, really endgame. Because in Arena, all you see is high resistance. Doom Tower, it is being very much used there as well. You're able to save anything being removed from you. Scarab King is a great example. Resistance will always be used. I don't see a time where you wouldn't want to put resistance on a few of your champions. Whether it's if you're trying to do Dragon 20 for the first time, Ice Golem 20, Fire Knight, and you want to not get debuffed like the poisons, the slow, throw some resistance and you'll be amazed how much it actually helps your run. It is a brilliant set. Retaliation, 35% chance to counterattack when hit. I think I put this on Jizzle and maybe Cudgeler because it was a mission, but it's very rare that I use the set. I'll keep pieces of it. I can't say that because it's a 4-piece set, I can't say that I've been relying on a counter-attack after I've been hit. If I want to heal myself up, I'll just put on lifesteal and I can proc counter-attack from a mastery. And if you can get counter-attack from your masteries, it kind of makes this set a bit irrelevant. But nonetheless, there is people that use it. There is builds that do demand this type of gear. So if you get any of it and it has good stats on it, it is definitely a keeper, because later on down the line you will definitely find some use for it. Reflex is interesting. Reflex got buffed, and for a long time I've been thinking of getting a fast Rotos in Reflex. So A3, then just A2, cools down each turn because of the reflex set, then does A1, extra turn, back to the A3. Can you just imagine the lunacy and the madness? There's a lot of champions. If you're putting in someone and you want to cycle abilities, be it Syl for the revive, or any kind of champion, any kind of debuffer, any kind of like increased defense, revive on death, increased speed, increased attack, anything like that, then being in a reflex set, giving them a 40% chance to reduce random skill cooldown, it's just going to give them greater access to their moves. Reflex set is pretty damn awesome, to be fair. I've got some really good pieces for it. I'm waiting to find a champion to which to put them onto. I know people that use Reflex, they think it's great. It's on champions that you would never think. And you wonder why their moves are cooling down so quick. It's the proc mastery. They get like cycle of violence and the other one. And you have Reflex 40%. It is possible, because I've seen it, to get your cooldowns pretty much every turn. And it's quite stupid, but it is a good set. Reflex with the buff is good. Before it got buffed, it was still good. And if you are farming, you pick some of them pieces up, be ready, keep a hold of them, level them up. If the gear is not great, by all means sell it, but if it's really good, then you should definitely keep a hold of it. Cursed, 75% chance to replace 50% heal reduction. Kinda crappy in a sense that there's not much use for it. Heal reduction can come from people's kit, so to waste 4 slots, well, not waste, but to use 4 slots kind of seems kind of silly. I mean, it's not even something that you'd want to kind of put on unless, unless there's Doom Tower. Doom Tower kind of helped Destroy get its name back, and I'm happy because I've always kind of thought Destroy was kind of cool. So for Cursed, if in Doom Tower we need to make sure we have heal reduction up and we need to wear that set, then it puts some life into it. Otherwise it's just kind of boring. I don't see it being used, even for a bit of fun, to be fair. Taunting, 30% chance to place provoke debuff. This is really good. If you've got somebody, if you get taunting gear, high resistance, high defense, high HP, like tank type stats, if you can put that on someone and have them, even if they're slow and they just keep taunting people because they've got good defense, good HP, you're going to get yourself a tank. You're going to get yourself a tank that will take all the hits, continually provoke people, and basically with an AoE, it could be an AoE provoke. You're then going to have 3 team members, depending on what you're doing, available to help you progress in content. The provoke debuff itself is really good. Umbrella charges, Angar. Provoke debuff is so strong that I don't use it enough, not as much as I should, but it's a great debuff. Taunting set is really good, but make sure you look through the gear pieces before you keep any. So with that being said, guys, we've looked through Ice Golem's Peak. Life set is still good, still viable, can be used. Offense is good to begin with, maybe not in late game. Defense is viable throughout. Crit rate, viable throughout. Resistance is viable throughout. Retaliation can be situational unless it gets, like the Scarab King treatment with regards to Destroy. That goes for Cursed also. Reflex is good, so it'll help you get your moves back sooner. Viable everywhere. Taunting, viable everywhere because provokes will help. Just, it's a form of CC, and any form of CC will stop you taking damage. And with that being said, guys, I love you all. Thank you so much. See you next time.